Are you packing for a cruise? Be careful. These 10 so-called must-have accessories might just be a waste of space, money, or even get you in trouble. We've all seen those must-pack cruise lists, but not everything is as useful as it seems. Some accessories are banned, others take up way too much space. There's a few that are just flat out unnecessary. So if you want to avoid wasting money and luggage space, you'll want to hear this list. Before you zip up that suitcase, let's go through the 10 cruise accessories you might regret bringing. Number 7 actually gets some people banned. So let's get started. Number 1, super obvious. I would hope anybody listening to me wouldn't even think about bringing these: firearms and weapons. Should go without saying, but some people still try to get firearms, knives, nunchucks, other types of weapons on board. Cruise lines have strict security screenings, and bringing a weapon can result in fines, denied boarding, legal trouble. It's not worth the hassle. If personal safety is a concern, opt for self-defense items that comply with cruise policies, like a whistle or a personal alarm, something along those lines. Travel irons or steamers, they are banned. I don't know of a single cruise ship that allows you to bring either of these items with you. While wrinkles in your clothes can be annoying, most cruise lines, as I said, prohibit irons and steamers because they're fire hazards. So if you do need to freshen up your clothes after taking them out of the suitcase, do what I do. Use wrinkle release spray, or depending upon your cruise, if you can, use the ship's laundry service. Better yet, roll your clothes when packing, which helps prevent a lot of the deep creases in the first place, so you don't have to worry about it. Next up, large beach towels. These are not prohibited, but they're bulky, they take up a lot of space, and I just don't see the need to bring your own. Cruise ships provide towels. They're either in your room or they're at the pool deck when you want to go hang out at the pool. Or if you're leaving the ship for an excursion, you can sign out pool towels right then and there. Bringing your own, like I said, takes up unnecessary luggage space. Just make sure if you use the cruise ship provided ones, you return them to the pool deck before you leave the ship. Because if you don't, you're going to get home and there's going to be a $25 per towel charge on your credit card. Nobody wants that. Unless you really, really like the towels. And while the towels are decent, they're not worth $25, in my opinion. Number 4, candles. Again, banned on every cruise ship that I know about. If you think about it, the biggest issue, the biggest concern for every cruise ship is fire. Because there's nowhere to go. Okay, you're literally floating in the middle of the ocean. Something catches fire and they can't put it out. There's nowhere to go. You're going to jump overboard, and not really something you want to do. So no candles. It doesn't matter if, ambiance, aromatherapy. Doesn't matter. Don't bring them. They're going to get confiscated. Okay. If you want your cabin to smell nice, okay, bring along a little, a small essential oil roller or some travel-friendly air freshener, something along those lines. Nothing that you need to burn, because that's not going to happen. Pool floats and inflatable rafts. Might seem like a fun idea, but yeah, most cruise ships, they're either going to take them from you or they're going to make you keep them in your cabin until you get to a port of call where you can use them, okay? Pool space on the ship is, no matter how big the ship is, it's limited. Yes, the pools are big, but you've got thousands of people who want to use it. So pool noodles, floats, rafts, none of that stuff, they're not going to allow that on board. Just not enough room. Too many people, okay? The ship has its own flotation devices if needed, so either save those floaties for your beach day or leave them at home. Don't bring them on the ship, or don't expect to use them on the ship. Let's put it that way. This is a personal thing, personal suggestion. It kind of flies in the face of what other people recommend, but me personally, I think expensive jewelry should be left at home. Yes, it's nice to dress up. Right, Elio? Thank you for joining us. Expensive jewelry. So yes, it's gorgeous and you want to show it off, and I get that. The challenge is you put a big old target on your back. If it's easily identifiable as expensive jewelry, and honestly, expensive jewelry, you can usually tell. Stick with simple, stylish accessories, nice costume jewelry, things like that. Leave the expensive jewelry at home, in my opinion. Obviously, you don't have to listen to me. Why paint a target on your back if you don't have to? And, honestly, if you take a couple pieces of costume jewelry and they go missing, not the end of the world. If you take a couple $1,000 necklace or tennis bracelet with you and that goes missing, yeah, that's a whole different story. So next up, illegal drugs. This is a one-way ticket off the ship. It might sound obvious, but so illegal drugs, we're not just talking about quote-unquote hard drugs. Any marijuana, anything with THC, anything with CBD, not having it. The cruise lines have to follow federal law. And as of the time of this recording, it is still federally illegal to possess THC, marijuana, CBD, any of that kind of stuff. Even sleep gummies, doesn't matter. You're looking at, if they catch you with it, you're looking at getting kicked off the ship, fines, legal trouble, being banned from the cruise line for the rest of your life. They're not messing around. So just leave it at home. I understand people needed to sleep. I understand it's anxiety issues. I get it. Get something else prescribed from your doctor or find some other way around it for that 7 days or 3 days or whatever. Currency for each port you visit. Now, this one is kind of subjective because it depends. If you're doing a Caribbean cruise, pretty much every island you go to is going to accept US dollars. Now, if you're from Canada, if you're from a different country, not necessarily, but US dollars are accepted in pretty much all of the Caribbean ports. If you're going on a Med cruise or a South Pacific cruise or, an Asian cruise, something like that, talk with your travel agent or call the cruise line, see what they suggest, because the last thing you want to do is, have to go to the currency exchange or the bank and get, $1,000 in this denomination and in this currency and another $100 in another currency and have 3, 4, 5 different currencies, on you. And then nobody wants to do that. And then if you don't spend it all, now you're stuck with it. You got to get it converted back. And it's just a hassle. If you are going somewhere that does not accept US dollars, 90+% of the places that you're going to visit that will accept credit cards. And so you can do it that way. Now, if you're going to use the credit card, make sure you get a credit card that does not charge foreign transaction fees. A lot of credit cards will charge you 1%, 1.5% of the transaction if the transaction's being done in a foreign currency or in a foreign country. So check that out with your credit card company before you go. Next up, big bulky strollers. If you're cruising with little ones, the big giant strollers can be a nightmare. Think about it. You got tight hallways, elevators, crowded decks, steps, lots of people. Don't do it to yourself. Get yourself a compact, lightweight umbrella stroller, something that's easy to fold up and store in your cabin. It's out of the way. It might not be as comfortable for your child, but it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for everybody involved. Some cruise lines will even rent you strollers so you don't have to bring your own. But check with your travel agent, check with the cruise line before you go. This next one I learned from personal experience. Do not bring giant hard shell suitcases. Like the ones that, they're a hard shell. I have one, and unfortunately, I wish I never bought it just because it's soft shell suitcases. They collapse easier. They fit under the bed easier. When my wife and I get on a cruise ship, we get our luggage, we get in our cabin, then we get our luggage. We throw the luggage up on the bed, open it up, and unpack everything we're going to need for that week, that 2 weeks, whatever the length of the cruise. Then when we're done, we take the suitcases and we put them underneath the bed. Hard shell suitcases, at least mine, doesn't fit under the bed. Closed. I have to leave it open and slide it underneath, and it's just a hassle. Instead, I definitely suggest soft-sided luggage or collapsible duffel bags, some things that are easier to store out of the way, because we all know that, cruise staterooms are not exactly large. Let's put it that way. So you want to maximize that space, and you don't want a, big bulky suitcase out in the way for the week. Walkie-talkies. These used to be really popular for keeping in touch on a cruise. Now that the Wi-Fi on board ships has gotten passable, I won't say good, I would say passable, and the cruise lines now have texting capability in most of the apps, and you can use that whether you get Wi-Fi or not. I wouldn't recommend the walkie-talkies, and certain cruise lines have banned them. So, they say they interfere with ship's communication. So before you, decide to purchase walkie-talkies, talk with somebody, your travel agent, the cruise line, and see if they're even allowed. Use the messaging app to keep in touch with people. Hard liquor and beer. All cruise lines have strict rules about what alcohol you can bring on board with you. Some of them only allow a bottle of wine per person or 2 bottles of wine per room. A couple of them allow, say, a 12-pack of beer to be brought on board. I don't know of any cruise lines that allow you to bring your own hard liquor on board. Don't even try, honestly. I like to tell the story that when we were getting on a Royal Caribbean ship, there was like a wall on the other side of the security line, and it was like a half wall, like 3-4 feet tall, and lined up on that wall were dozens of bottles of hard liquor, and including a bottle of Louis XIII brandy, which last time I checked goes for about $3,000. So yeah, they're going to find it. They're going to confiscate it. Some ships will allow, they'll put a tag on it and they'll allow you to pick it up after the cruise and take it home with you. Most cruises now, it's gone. I don't know who gets it, but you don't get it back. So check the rules about bringing any kind of alcohol on board, any drinks on board before you get there. You don't want to spend the time, money, and energy bringing bottles of wine or 12 packs of beer with you, and you get there and the cruise ship says, yeah, no, sorry, that ain't coming on. Not a fun thing. Power strips. Surge-protected power strips are banned on all ships. Okay. Non-surge protected power strips are allowed on some ships, on some cruise lines. You got to talk to somebody to find out, to know what to bring with you. Definitely no surge protection. Forget that. It ain't happening. They're going to confiscate it. And if it gets through the security check, you get it, into your cabin, plug it in. The first time your room steward comes in, he's going to rip that thing out and get rid of it. Okay. They're prohibited, they're fire hazards. The non-surge protection ones, even those, the cruise lines are starting to crack down on. So talk with somebody before you buy anything, before you pack. Now that you know all about cruise accessories that I never bring, you're going to need to know whether purchasing a drink package is truly worth it. If you don't make the right choice, you're going to end up wasting money on overpriced drinks, which I'll show you how to avoid in this video here.